Jacqueline's hand, which had been rubbing my chest through my shirt, started to move lower. Her fingers found the hem of my shirt and slipped underneath. They felt warm and soft as they slid across my belly, stopping momentarily to trace a circle around my belly button. Suddenly, realizing what she was doing, she stopped and pulled away. But I took hold of Jacqueline's hand and placed it back on my stomach. That was all the prodding she needed to keep going. We kissed again, only longer and more passionately than before. I wanted so desperately to touch her but feared she might not like me to. You know, it is funny how you can be thinking about something like that while at the same time be thinking about how wonderful all of it felt. I decided to try touching her. While still kissing, I slowly lifted my right hand and soft as I could, I allowed it to come to rest on her left thigh. Unbelievably, she moaned her approval. I began to slide it up and down, each time moving my hand further and further up her hip, then her side until my hand came to rest beside her small breast. I had been so focused on getting my hand to her breast that I hadn't noticed she had been working her fingers under the waistband of my pants. She nearly had her whole hand inside when I had finally got up the nerve to cup my hand over her left breast. At that same moment she had pushed her hand into my shorts and squeezed the front of my diaper directly above my rigid penis. We were both breathing hard through our noses, as our tongues wrestled together. She continued to squeeze and massage the front of my diaper while my hand explored her wonderful chest through her shirt. I was just starting to build up my courage to try to put my hand under her shirt when she suddenly pushed me away so forcefully that we both slid across the wooden floor a couple inches. Before I had a chance to ask why she had done that, my bedroom door swung open and in walked grandfather. Busted, I thought. What are you two doing alone in here? He asked. Jacqueline answered. Alvin was upset and crying. I was keeping him company. He pointed out of the room and said, "You two need to get downstairs." Jacqueline jumped to her feet and flew from the room, but I didn't as much as budge. I looked at grandfather with every fiber of my being loathing him. What I said next was probably the meanest thing I have ever said to anyone. I wish you had died instead of my dad. Grandfather was visibly stunned, as though I had hit him upside the head with an aluminum baseball bat. One look into his cold eyes and I could tell I had struck a lethal blow. Anger and raw emotions boiled out of me. I rose to my feet as if a great hand had come out of the sky and lifted me. My hands, balled up into rock-solid fists, hung to my side. With a tongue of fire I lashed out again. I hate you. I hate you and I wish you were dead. As he seemed to stagger from my verbal thrashing, I took a bold step toward him. I wish we had never come here and I wish you weren't my grandfather. You ruined everything. You made us come here. Because of you my dad is dead and my mom almost was too. Fueled by rage I took another step, cocked my right arm back ready to strike out in violence. I hadn't seen it coming. Actually, I was on the floor holding my right cheek before I even knew he had slapped me across the face. He had hit me so hard that I had gone down with a single swing of his old wrinkled hand. With tears flooding from my eyes I looked up into his eyes and this demonic voice came out of me. If I were bigger I'd kill you. Surprisingly, grandfather is a lot stronger than he looks. With the same speed he'd used when hitting me, he reached down, grabbed me by my right arm near my bicep and jerked me to my feet. I think that is about enough from you, grandfather said through thin white lips and clenched teeth. I shook my head and that same devil voice came out of me, only about 10 times more powerful. Everyone would be happier if you would just die. Grandfather grabbed my other arm and shook me. That is enough, he hissed. I shook my head again but didn't have a chance to say anything else because he lifted me by my upper arms and tossed me face first onto the bed. Before I knew what was happening he had pulled down my pants and tore away my diaper. He said something but I honestly cannot remember what it had been. His left hand was pressing down on the middle of my back and he must have somehow also had my legs pinned down because I tried to kick but couldn't. The first blow landed square on my left butt cheek and felt as though he had struck me with red-hot metal. I screamed and struggled but it was useless. The second blow struck higher and centered. It hurt just as much as the first had. All in all I received 10 hard swats with his hand before he stopped. Well, I think it was 10. I lost count after the 6th hit. I was hurting so badly that I didn't get up right away. My hands found my burning bottom as I turned my head, and with tear-swollen eyes I saw him from the back only briefly as he was walking out of my room and leaving my bedroom door open. It wasn't until later that night, after everyone had gone to bed, that I noticed my surfboard was missing from the wall across from the foot of my bed. After grandfather had left my room, I pushed myself off the bed and staggered to the bathroom with my pants still around my ankles. My tattered diaper was still fastened around one leg and trailed behind me. I was relieved when I looked in the mirror and did not see any lasting mark despite the side of my face still feeling hot from the slap. I twisted my body so I could see my bright red backside in the mirror. My butt looked like I had sat in fresh red paint. I washed my face with cold water and splashed water all down my front in the process. Still crying a little, I pulled off my shirt and tossed it down the laundry chute. With a little frustration, I finally got my shoes off and my feet freed from my bunched up pants. I didn't really think about it at the time, but I tossed everything down the laundry chute, torn diaper and all, without turning on the water before climbing into the shower stall. I closed the glass door and didn't even bother with the hot water. All I was interested in was the soothing effects of cold water. The first blast of cold water hit me in the chest and it felt like someone had punched me. By the time I came back out, I was nearly blue all over. My teeth were chattering uncontrollably and my limbs struggled to obey my brain's commands. I stood before the mirror once again and chuckled to myself at how small my package was after suffering from what seemed to have been a 20-minute long ice shower. Another quick inspection of my backside in the mirror showed very little signs of redness. When I was satisfied that my bottom and face no longer looked red or swollen, I flipped off the light switch. I was walking out of the bathroom when I received a small shock. Standing in the middle of my room was Mommy Beth. She smiled. "Didn't mean to give you a start." I was standing there still wet because I hadn't dried myself. My arms were wrapped around my chest trying to get warm and my dang teeth were still chattering away. "Alvin, you look positively frozen stiff," she exclaimed as she began rubbing and hugging me to try and warm me up. Due to shivering and my teeth chattering so much, my response came out sounding something like this: "CC, can YUH help PMMEG get already FFF4BB bed? Wasn't there any hot water?" she asked, but I didn't reply. Looking at her nearly caused me to start crying again. As it was, I couldn't talk anymore. I gazed at her longingly. She held out her arms and said, "Come lie down on the bed." I nearly tripped over my own feet as I tried to walk to the bed and fell into her waiting arms. She helped me onto the bed while saying something about never understanding why little boys are always doing silly stuff like taking a shower with no hot water or taking a bath with all their clothes on. I supposed that last part was something Joey had done before. She quickly diapered me and then helped me into my pajamas before she put me under the covers and tucked me in good and tight. I was still very cold, but my teeth had stopped chattering. "I'm going to go get you some hot milk to help warm you up inside," she had said, but by the time she had returned I was already sound asleep. I guess I was really tired because I don't even remember waking up when Joey was put into bed with me.